All right, folks, welcome. Welcome to another episode of Inspiring Inquire. Really excited to be here sharing on this platform. Of course, it's your girl, Regina.
And Shani.
Woohoo, it's episode 6 already.
Yeah, we're halfway through our first season.
Right. Time is flying. We're happy you're with us along this journey. Podcasts are really fun.
So true.
They allow you to just really talk openly and, have discussions that you wouldn't necessarily get to have, usual settings.
In a more formal setting, I feel like.
So I'm happy you're on this podcast with us. So today we're actually going to be talking about something very, very interesting. It's interesting because a lot of us, I feel, can relate, especially whoever's listening now probably heard of this podcast through a social media platform.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
Whether on Instagram or YouTube or Facebook.
All of them.
All of them.
And social media, it's such a great platform to get to, connect with people and share stuff. But it also has a lot of other connotations attached to it.
It's like the other side of it is that it can be a little lonely on social media.
Social media can be lonely, and that's why we want to talk about friendship.
Yes.
And just the importance of cultivating and maintaining good friends. I remember one girl, I was, looking at YouTube, and I was looking at this interview, and she was saying that she has 1 million subscribers and maybe another 1 million followers on Instagram and another 500,000, 5,000 friends on Facebook. And she was still feeling lonely.
Yeah.
And she said it's because she just didn't feel like anyone who followed her was really had her best interest at heart.
Yeah.
So what really makes a good friend, I guess,
and I guess
what we're talking about.
When you're talking about 1 million followers and subscribers, it's that, what's more important? Is it quantity or quality? So you can have 1 million friends 1,000 friends on Facebook, but you don't actually have a real friend that is going to be there for you in a real way.
Or you can have 1 million followers on Instagram, but when it's time for someone to show up,
there isn't no
one following you.
There's not a million people showing up.
Yeah, they're not following you down that road. Yeah. All right, so what really makes a good friend? You were saying that you did some research on long-lasting friendships and the benefit it has to...
So, me, I'm always looking at my studies and quotes, and, people have actually done, tested research on the importance of friendship. And I forget the name of the guy, but, they found that there was a correlation between living longer, healthier, happier lives and having true long-term friendships, that the two or the one actually help the other. And sometimes we take it for granted that it's just for the fun and the frolic, if you will,
right? Hanging out, the good laughs, the conversations.
But there's a lot more to it, and I think we wanted to talk about it. Is that we do have, I would say, a long-term friendship. Like, we're going 20 years now of what I would say is a really true friendship.
I agree. We do have a great friendship. Not just true, but I feel it's a really good friendship. It's one of those friendships that are for the books. And we feel like it might be beneficial to someone out there to hear what we think makes our friendship good.
Yeah, so I agree.
Let's do it.
All right. I mean, when we were thinking about it, because we've talked about it in different times and spaces, it was like, what was that main thing? Like, what makes you say, you know what,
she's a good friend?
Yeah, or this is somebody I want in my life,
Right.
And I think the first thing is I call it the clique, but I don't know if that's the best way.
You click.
we totally clicked.
We clicked. Like,
that's the best, the most prophetic way to describe it.
I guess it's a similarity. It's coming from the same place, kind of a similar mindset or same intention. Like, we had similar intentions, not necessarily the same interest.
That's true.
Right?
That's true.
You listen to what, rock?
That rock. I like my alternative music and my Broadway musicals. Right. Gina is not about it. She's all like
R&B.
Soul,
give
R&B.
me that soul. India
we come together on India, but the rest of it, I'm like, oi.
Yeah, but that's true. We have completely different interest in music. We have different interest in movies.
Yeah.
But similar interest in the way we go about doing things. Not what we're doing, but how we do it.
Where we're coming from, how we think about it.
And one of those things that are really similar is our openness.
Yeah, and also I think we're both non-judgmental.
Yes.
You know, and that creates a space of openness. If you're not being judgmental, then you can be the person you're with can be open.
So our theory is that if you are looking for a good friend or trying to, ascertain if who's around you right now are good friends, you might not be sure about who's around you and what they're about. One of the things to look for is that similarity in terms of your mindset.
That common ground in mindset, in how you think, in how you approach life.
Right. And then also, are you feeling like you can be open with this person? Are you being open with them? Are they being open with you? Because the foundation definitely depends on that ability to be true.
Yeah, because it's, we disagree. Like, that's part of it. And to be able to disagree and still come out of it even closer or understanding more comes again from
that openness. Absolutely. I have a good example about us disagreeing, if you guys want to hear. No, it's kind of stupid, but it's a good example, because I remember one day we were doing a summer program. It was called ETC, and we were working together every day, and I would come in and I would start by what the tasks we have to do and what's next, and I'm very about
it was like
to-do lists.
All right, where's this? Where's the chat?
I'd come in every day like that. And one day Shani came to me and she said, listen, we need to talk. And I couldn't imagine what it would be about. Everything to me was going great. Things were smooth. And she said,
I was like, you come in every morning and you don't acknowledge me. You don't say good morning. I was like, what the F? Like, I was genuinely upset.
She was genuinely
I
hurt.
was proper pissed that we had to have this discussion. Like, I felt it was disrespectful that you don't acknowledge me. It's like, where's the this? Where's the that? And, so we had this long...
big kickoff about me saying good morning. And I couldn't imagine that something, to me, is so... just frivolous. Like, there's so many much more important things that we have to do that my brain power can think about right now than to say good morning, because it should be understood that I want you to have a good morning.
It is an acknowledgement. It is you taking that break from all those things to say, hello, Shani, good morning.
And at the end of the day, it wasn't about being right or wrong. Till this day, Shani feels the way she feels, and to this day, I feel the way I feel. But I was able to adjust. I realized that, listen, this is something that's important to her, something that she actually needs to have a good morning. And it's not going to take,
away from your good morning.
From my good morning to say good morning. So we would laugh about that. Come in every morning and say, morning,
But
Shani.
On the other hand, too, is that I didn't have any fear about bringing up this thing to her. That I, like I said, there was that open space where I knew that, this matters to me. So I know that I can bring it up, and I know that what's being said is going to be respected and accepted. Like you said, you were like, this is important to her, so I can make that shift. I can take it into account and change my approach.
Absolutely.
To respect and accept where you're coming from.
Absolutely.
And on the other side too, if there was one morning where she didn't say good morning, I now understand a little bit more about Regina, that that's not where she's coming from. She's not being rude. She's not being disrespectful. So I can also accept and respect that as well. So we grew from this kind of seems simple thing.
Yeah.
To learn more about each other.
And a lot of relationships kind of, I would say get destroyed from simpler things than that. That's...
It's true, because think about it. I could be like, this little, I'm going to say it for her. Like, you don't want to say good morning, fine. Imagine. And now I come in every day with this energy of like anger and animosity towards her without ever discussing it.
Yeah.
And then she's like, I don't know what's wrong with Shani. And these things happen. And then little by little, people, what is the word?
They part.
They
Slowly. They
drift away.
They drift away.
And it's over something that could have been addressed.
Absolutely. And that's, I guess, another big point that we're making is that, not just being open and not just finding that similar, ground, but also discussing.
Yeah.
Discussing and then accepting and respecting each other.
Accepting and respecting.
Yeah, I like it. It rhymes. I love a good rhyme. The other thing I want to bring up about our friendship that I think might be beneficial to others is the fact that we both show up for each other.
Yeah.
That's kind of some of the times when we showed up for each other was when we kept realizing, oh, this is a good friend.
Yeah.
Oh, this is kind of like the stamp every time.
Like, you know, because it's you're making that effort. You know, it's in those times when it's inconvenient. That is it. It's in those times when it's not so convenient to you, but you know what? It's important to this person. And they mean that much to me, so I'm going to show up for them.
I can give you an example when Shani showed up for me, just to, show you what I'm talking about. I remember I just had Gio, breastfeeding, so no alcohol, no parties.
And we were 20 a little bit.
Yeah,
so
I was 22.
Yeah, in terms of mental space, it was about
you party, you go out for Christmas. It was around the Christmas time. And I wasn't, able to do much. And Shani came by the house. Everybody else went out to party that night, and Shani came by. Not saying she didn't party after, but she came by with wine.
A little bit of wine.
Just I took some wine, some Christmas pudding, and she hung out with me and the baby. And I was just so happy to have a friend that could share the journey with me.
To be in that moment with you.
Yeah.
I mean, and even fast forward, I can think of two examples. First one, if we're thinking back then, I went to school all the way in Wisconsin, ass end of nowhere. And coming from Jamaica, she was the only person who came there. So everybody else would have who came from the other ass ends, would have their friends come and visit. And no one was coming up there. But Regina came in the dead of winter, bless her heart, and spent a weekend in that place, to see, like, this is where you are, 4 years of your life. So she's the only person who
has
knows
that reference.
Yeah, knows what that place is.
Yeah, showed up.
And even now, fast forward, where now I'm a new mom.
Yep.
She does make that effort. We can't go and do as much as we used to, but she does come every weekend to spend some time, drink a glass of wine, and be here as a friend for me.
Showing up.
Yeah.
And it's my pleasure, absolutely. I definitely, I thank God. I thank God for a friend like Shani. And I always have my little Bible verses. So I'm going to share with you what I found for this particular topic. It's Proverbs 18:24. And it says, one who has unreliable friends soon comes to ruin. But there is a friend who sticks closer than a brother. And that's showing up. That's Shani for me there. Wow. She's like family.
So I will meet your Bible verse with one of my quotes.
You're always researching quotes.
I know, that's what comes to me. And this is from Aristotle, great Greek philosopher of the olden times. And he says, in poverty and other misfortunes of life, true friends are a sure refuge.
Wow.
So I like that one.
So true. And we just thought this would be a topical subject just because so many people are feeling lonely, feeling that they don't have friends, and wondering, why is it that I can have so many Instagram friends and so many social media followers, but still feel this way.
And what I would think too is that sometimes it's if you look, you know what I mean? Like if you really look, I think many of us have at least one. There is someone there who is doing these things for you, and maybe you might want to take a look and show up for them too.
Yeah, that's a good point, because when you go back to that whole quality versus quantity argument, and some of us spread ourselves so thin between 20 25 friends trying to show up for all 25 when half of them not showing up for you
there's
either.
Probably only one or two reciprocating,
right?
And maybe you give that energy to those,
to the right.
You give the energy to those giving to you, type of thing.
I agree.
Yeah.
Well, what I would say is that you have your 25 people that you showing up for.
Who's showing up for you?
Who is showing up for you? That is the question.
Yeah.
And when we say showing up, we're meaning like, who are those people who have similar mindsets, to yours?
Who's creating an open space for you? Who is meeting you with no judgment?
Yeah, who is respecting your opinions and accepting you
as a
for
person,
who you are.
Yeah. That's not an easy thing. So recognize the people who are doing that for you and who you're doing it for as well.
That's the next thing. Be real. Like, are you being a good friend?
Mm-hmm.
Are you being a good friend to those around you?
Yeah.
It's not just about
what you're getting.
Exactly, it's what you're giving.
Yeah. A couple things. I mean, we mentioned some of them. Some other things I just found. So we said open. Number one thing. Are you being genuine? Are you being honest? Are you tolerating their frailties, which comes to the acceptance side of it? Mm-hmm. And do you appreciate the differences? And this was an interesting one. Honestly criticize when necessary.
I love that. There's a proverb for that too, by the way.
That comes back to being able to disagree and being able to be real. Because sometimes being real isn't just being a cheerleader. Sometimes that's saying, we may want to pause on this and look in a different direction.
Yeah.
So those are some things to think about.
I think in the Bible it says something about it's better there's open rebuke.
Yes, I remember.
You remember that one?
Yeah.
It's better love is when you're being open. It's not hidden.
Yeah.
Anything that's in love it can't be hidden, right?
So even if it is a rebuke or a criticism,
exactly.
If it's honest and
the intention is to benefit the person,
then it is love.
Yeah,
I like that.
I hope you enjoyed this chat that we had. We enjoy sharing with you. We do want to encourage you to actually send your feedback our way.
Yes. So you can either message us on Instagram or email us at theiandipodcast@gmail.com.
That's THEIANDI podcast at gmail.com.
We're good. We are at the halfway mark for our first season, so we're gonna take a 2-week break, and we'd really love to get your questions, feedback, comments, things that you are interested in hearing us talk about. So we're looking out for that.
Look out for the questions in the Instagram story as well. We'll be collecting anything you guys want to hear.
Send our way.
Yeah, send it our way so that we can do a Q&A when we get back to start off part 2 of season 1
of Inspire and Inquire.
Bye.
See ya.